Toyota's laughing their way to the bank, largely due to the success and demand of their hybrid vehicles. Meanwhile, in pretty much every market, the EV uptake is starting to stagnate, especially here in the United States. And Toyota's been pumping the brakes on EVs for a long time now. Have they been correct in their estimation that people are not going to be interested unless range gets better, unless affordability gets better, as well as charging infrastructure? Let's get into it. Over at Nikkei Asia, Toyota lifts profit outlook to record high amid weak yen. I just came back from Japan, and yes, I'm very grateful that the yen was weak because my dollar, man, it went a long ways to get me some tasty food. All right, so Toyota now expects record net profit of almost 4 trillion yen, which equals about $26.1 billion, and that's for the year ending through March 2024, which is up 61% from the previous year. Its previous forecast for full year net profit was going to be 2.58 trillion yen. And again, they have about a 1.5 trillion yen excess of what they were forecasting. Operating profit is estimated to come in at 4.5 trillion yen, up 65%, while revenue is seen at 43 trillion yen, which is up nearly 16%. And thanks to the favorable transfer from the US dollar to the Japanese yen, Toyota's operating income has been boosted by about 45 billion yen. All right, so their annual sales for Asia, their expectation, their forecast, not including Japan, is down 6% to 1.8 million vehicles. But the global forecast remained unchanged to 9.6 million vehicles. They're still, without a doubt, the largest manufacturer in the entire world. And this demand is huge here in North America as well as in Europe. Toyota's CFO Yoichi Miyazaki says we still have a positive outlook, but there are a lot of concerns. In China, the behavior of the market is changing and the real estate situation is uncertain and impacting Southeast Asia and in Vietnam and in Thailand, and the market itself is going through some changes. So they're not feeling overly optimistic. In the world's largest market in China, Toyota sold 1 million vehicles in the first half of 2023, which is roughly the same as last year. That's a good thing. I see that as a very positive because pretty much any foreign automaker is down compared to last year. But there has been a huge, strong discount competition going on in China, especially in the area of battery electric vehicles. And this has led Toyota to lower its production for annual global EV sales to 123,000, which is more than they were pacing the last time I ran the numbers. But it looked like they were going to ramp up EV production the second half of this year. It'll be down 39% compared to its previous forecast of 202,000. My previous estimations was going to be somewhere around 92,000 vehicles. They're still going to produce 120,000 electric vehicles, but I guess they had huge plans to boost the production in the later half of this year. So, and that might also be for fiscal year. So in the first quarter of 2024, they're really going to amp up production, but they're really cooling it off because profits are not there, especially in China, due to the price wars. All right, here's the good news for those who like hybrids, especially in China, it seems like, but their hybrid vehicles are expected to increase. The total number of vehicles that we can sell in the market will remain steady. So yeah, they're reducing BEVs due to the lack of profitability. They're increasing hybrids due to the margins they can have on them. And yeah, they're avoiding the price competition. That's one way of not bleeding. That's the downfall, you could say, of battery electric only companies, is that when demand cools, they don't have any other secondary plays. They're forced to make battery electric vehicles at a lower profit margin. Toyota's like, hey, we got the world's best hybrid technology, and we're going to make hand over fist on that because there's actually profits to be had there. Speaking of hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and BEVs, yesterday I made this big announcement, because Toyota made the big announcement, that there's going to be a new $8 billion investment. And here's the cool thing, is that this investment is in the North Carolina battery plant, and it will be opening up 8 more assembly lines for plug-in hybrid vehicles as well as battery electric vehicle batteries. And those lines will all be up and running by the end of 2030. And here's the thing. If BEV demand cools in the United States, they can make more plug-in hybrid batteries as a result. If EV demand goes up, they don't have to make as many plug-in hybrid batteries. So they have the absolute most strategic place to be, it seems like, going forward for the rest of this decade. They still are planning to sell like 1.5 million BEVs by 2026. And then, I guess I have the official, or like what they're, 2026 right here, 1.5 million, and then by 2030, they want to be at 3.5. So what can possibly go on here? How are they going to be able to ramp up that much? Well, LFP technology, they have that bipolar technology coming out that's going to reduce battery costs. It'll also increase range and improve safety as well with those LFP batteries. Also in this time period, starting in 2027, 2028, we'll have solid state batteries, and that's really going to, once they're able to mass produce, and that's going to reduce charging times as well as increase range massively. So huge changes coming in 2026 and beyond for Toyota when they're able to come out with new battery technologies and new platforms with gigacasting and software-defined vehicles. And it makes sense that they're waiting to roll out BEVs more and more as profits drop on their current ETNGA platform, which is just not set up for BEVs. The BZ4X is very efficient, but it can be done better. All right, over at Automotive News. So all that Toyota record profits, reducing BEVs, increasing hybrids, while that is going on, what else is happening in the EV market? Well, over at Automotive News, EV transition slows as inventory grows and industry hits hurdles. Now they're saying there is a disconnect. EV fluctuations today don't determine long-term trends. And we just talked about that. Long-term trends, even though it's not that far, it's not like 2040 we're talking about, but by 2030, Toyota still plans on selling a ton of BEVs due to the increased desirability, increased functionality of BEVs in the second half of this decade. We're just kind of in this awkward place right now. And since EV growth has stalled, General Motors delayed EV pickup production. Honda canceled the deal with General Motors. I talked about that yesterday. They're canceling their $5 billion commitment together to create affordable EVs by 2027. Ford is pushing back its $12 billion EV spending and reducing Mustang Mach-E production, delaying one of two planned battery plants. And Tesla saw its revenue growth fall in the third quarter to its slowest pace in more than 3 years. Doesn't look good for anyone making BEVs in the really short term. I think, like once we get past 2026, 2027, BEVs will become much more desirable. But look at Mercedes-Benz. Holy cow, slow selling EVs piling up on the lots, taking 82 days on average to sell their battery-powered EQ models in September. Industry-wide last month, dealers had 97-day supply of EVs, excluding Tesla and Rivian, compared with 57 days for internal combustion engine vehicles. Battery electric vehicles made up 7.7% of the light vehicle sales in September, down from 7.8% in August. So sales are actually retreating for battery electric vehicles. And early estimates are showing sales going down 7.5% in the month of October. So they're starting to slide. It's hard to, is it that hard to believe because cars are so expensive? Elon Musk has been worried for a while since interest rates are so high. He's worried about people buying his cars, and that could be a reason also why the sales are dropping here. But look, this is just EV supply, and this doesn't affect Rivian or Tesla because they don't have dealerships. So it's totally different. They're playing their own game there. But look how high EVs are sitting on the market now. It has gone down, but I think a part of why that's gone down is because the automakers are seeing the lack of demand. Look, EVs are piling up. What do? We stop producing as many, which they're happy to do because they cost so much money. So, okay, let's reduce the amount of production on these EVs because ICE vehicles are flying off the lots in comparison, and they're more profitable, as we just talked about with Toyota. And speaking of Toyota, Akio Toyoda, who I saw multiple times, both days I was at the Japan Mobility Show, I saw him do a little video in front of the KB, the Koyoi Bako. That's a hard word, but just call it the Toyota KB. It's a cute electric minivan. I also saw him get paraded the second day. He went around every single booth, essentially in a golf cart with 30 security members around him, like the Pope. He was essentially in a Pope mobile, getting curated tours from every single president of, let's say, Honda. Honda's president was there. Mazda president was there. Mercedes-Benz of Japan's president was there. And he was getting curated tours of each individual booth as he went around in a golf cart where his private security of multiple different companies. There was tons of different, I'd say 2 or 3 different private security companies following him around. It was insane. But anyways, he says, I know that was one went off the rails there, but he says the reality of EVs is becoming apparent. The reality of EVs is becoming apparent. They're just not good enough right now. And then you add in the high cost of them with inflation going nuts, the economic, like I follow the tech sector as well. Like demand for PC parts has plummeted in the past few months too. So it is, it's just a crazy, crazy economic time that we're facing. And it's a bit uncertain for everyone. I don't know if anyone's really hit super hard times yet, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I don't think projections are looking that great in the near term, maybe the next 6 months or so. Hopefully it all blows over, interest rates go down, and we can start buying cars at 0% interest once again like we could in 2020. So we came up with a spreadsheet to kind of look at how volume is changing for BEVs in my area. Within 200 miles, I live in Southwest Florida, so there are a ton of EVs in my area. Not because it's a carb state, we're far from that. Obviously, unless you've been living under a rock. There's just a ton of money down here. There's a lot of money that can pour into expensive vehicles, and electric vehicles are expensive. They're a status symbol for sure, at least at this point in time. Pulling that info from cars.com, take a look at what's going on. It's pretty interesting. So Mustang Mach-E volume is ballooning, sitting on lots, and prices are coming down as a result. So that is maybe a good option if you're looking for an electric vehicle, the Mustang Mach-E, because dealers just need to get rid of them. They're piling up in droves. Mercedes-Benz, we talked about them quite a bit earlier in the video. They're piling up in droves too. From 569 back in August to 614 now in November. And that's total. That includes all their different EQ models, which there are tons of different variants. But also their prices have stayed about the same, but I'm sure you would be able to get a deal if you go to a Mercedes-Benz dealership. They're wanting to get rid of them. ID4 volume has gone down by 20 units. So look at the July volume. There were hardly any. But if we look at 334 last month, or should I say a couple months ago, and prices are coming down as a result to move those ID4s. ID4, I don't like it for many reasons. It just is one of the worst electric cars I've driven. Nissan Ariya is one of the better electric cars I've driven, but these things are also piling up on lots. They have doubled their volume. Nissan has also recently come out with an employee lease deal where you can lease these things for like $200-300 a month with, I think, no money. It's ridiculous. So if you're a Nissan employee, snap up an Ariya. It's probably going to be cheaper to lease than something like even like a Sentra. It's outrageous how cheap these are to lease for a single year for Nissan employees. Prices seemingly have increased from the lowest price available compared to last month, but I'm telling you, you should, with this sort of volume ballooning, you should be able to get a good deal on an Ariya if you're willing to haggle. F-150 Lightning are piling up just like the Mustang Mach-E from Ford, from 137 in July to 167 in August. Now we look at November and look at what the prices have done. Because these things are piling up, nobody wants a brick of a pickup truck if you're towing something. Like, your range is just terrible. $67,000 in August. It's now down to $52,000. Now, part of that wasn't it the $10,000 or $20,000 price drop on the Pro models? That's a part of it, but it's still $10,000 more expensive than what it was announced at. I think it was announced around $40,000. The entry-level price now is around $50,000. Still too expensive for a niche of a pickup truck. All right, Ioniq 5. What's going on with this? Well, sales volume actually is dropping, or should I not say sales volume? Volume of these at dealerships is going down, which is good. They're moving them better. And the prices have kind of flatlined here, about $35,000, $36,000. A part of that is that Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6 just got big drops for price for the next model year. So leftover models should be getting cheaper too. I think it's like $5,000 price drop across the board. All right, Kia EV6 as well. Volume is sitting on the lots is decreasing, and prices have gone down a little bit as well. Hyundai Ioniq 6, huge drop in volume, sitting on lots from 245 to 175. And prices have also gone down about $2,000 to $3,000 for the Ioniq 6, the streamliner, the super efficient. It's very, very efficient. I haven't had one since my media drive, so hopefully I get one soon to test, and so I can tell you guys what it's like to live with for a week. Q8 e-tron, very expensive EV, not worth the money. Handles great, but I hate the interior. Looks great on the outside. Anyways, I could talk about the e-tron and any of these EVs for a while, the ones I've tested anyways. Volume's actually increased. It's sitting on lots. Prices are going down on the e-tron. Like I said, it's just too expensive. Doesn't charge fast enough. It's just not good enough of an EV, in my opinion, to fetch the price. Total BMW. So BMW is one of the best-selling electric vehicle automakers here in North America. And you can see their volume's going down and their prices are actually seemingly going up. So BMW sells about twice as fast with their EVs compared to the soap bar designed Mercedes-Benz that are just piling up at lots. Audi Q4 e-tron, prices have gone up there about $3,000 and a volume is about the same as it was in August. GV70 electric vehicle, really, really good. It's limited by its range, I would say, but it still has an 800 volt charging architecture, I believe. So it just does charge quickly. It is getting increased volume in my area. Price is still, it's about $67,000. Really good EV, just it's limited on range. Fast as hell, 3.8 seconds, 0 to 60. Subaru Solterra, volume or availability is dropping in lots. Prices are about the same. We just talked about how Toyota, aka Subaru, in this case, their volume is going to be going down due to the lack of demand. All right, Volvo XC40, one of my favorite EVs, has just been improved for the 2024 model year. And so you should be able to get good deals on the 2023 leftovers. But look, they're being snapped up because the volume is really dropping off there that is sitting on lots. BZ4X, we talked about that. Prices are about the same and volume's gone down. It's not that desirable of an EV despite its super efficient. Like I was getting 4.6 miles per kilowatt hour. It's just absurd. G80 electric, had it last week. Adore the car, love the interior, love the exterior. It's really expensive, and in fact, you can't get it for under $77,000 in my area, and it's not under $81,000 in November here, November 1st. So, yeah, it's a very niche, low volume car. Lexus RZ, volume has stayed the same over the past few months. Prices have actually increased. Again, a good EV. Just really expensive, and it needs better range, better software, better charging, etc. Prius Prime, there are none in my area. That's bull crap. Bull crap, Toyota. Stop making your EVs. Nobody wants them. People would pay they are paying hand over fist, but they want the Prius Prime. They want a Highlander Prime or Grand Highlander Prime. They want more RAV4 Prime availability. They want more Lexus plug-in hybrid availability, and we just aren't getting it. And it's not going to happen until 2025 and beyond, when that battery plant comes in North Carolina and they start producing plug-in hybrid battery packs for the first time ever here in North America. So we're still going to be waiting 2 more years. 2 more years for us to get better plug-in hybrid availability for Toyota and Lexus models. It's hard for me to say that, but you have something like the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid that doesn't seem to be crimped with production, which is great. It's a great alternative out there. Prius, I didn't even look up the Prius, but yeah, we know that the volume's extremely low on it as well. So yeah, I'm going to end it there, guys. EVs, the demand is dropping, sales volume is dropping, their market share volume is dropping as we finish out 2023. It depends on the market where you're at. You know, that's here in North America. Europe is still growing, not at the rate as it was. China is still growing really, really fast with EV adoption. I didn't see very many EVs when I was over in Japan. The most EVs I saw there were actually Teslas. And in fact, Tesla was pretty much the only American automaker I saw. I saw like a Cadillac crossover, and that was an anomaly for me. I don't even know if Cadillac is sold there. It's probably imported into Japan, a gray market, kind of as a used vehicle. So anyways, let me know down below, what are your thoughts on the EV situation? Would you rather have a plug-in hybrid? Would you rather have a standard hybrid? Would you rather have a traditional gas model with no battery pack or electrification? Speaking of plug-in hybrid models, I am driving the Pacifica plug-in hybrid this week. There's good things to say about it. There's bad things to say about it. And you guys know I am a huge fan of minivans. So it's just been a treat to test out and try a new minivan that I haven't tested here on the channel. But wow, Toyota laughing their way to the bank with record profits, hybrids at an all-time demand, hybrid volume increasing for them, and plug-in hybrid volume will be really increasing for them in the second half of this decade. So shutting it down. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day and peace out.